Hey there, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna make a fall treat staple that was requested. We're gonna be recreating these Little Debbie Pumpkin Delights. These were so difficult to find in a store, I had to order them online. So hopefully these will be easier for you to get and make at home than having to go look for them. As always, everything you're gonna need will be in the description box down below. Now let's get started on this recipe. Start with a clean bowl. You can also use your stand mixer for this. We're gonna get our melted butter and our molasses and combine that together. I will be using a whisk for this. So here I'm just incorporating the ingredients together, making sure they're well combined. Then I'll add in my sugar and whisk that together. And then here I'm adding 1 egg in and whisking it up. It's gonna look kind of like caramel at this point. Now to that I'm adding my salt and my baking powder, as well as all my spices, and then giving it a good whisk. Just incorporating until you don't see any more dry ingredients. Now I'm going to add all my flour into this, and I'm going to be using a spatula to combine this well. If you're using a stand mixer, at this point you can switch to a paddle attachment. And we're just going to mix this until all the flour is well incorporated. I like to use my hands as well, just so I can get a sense of how wet my dough is or how dry it is. And once it's all come together and holding its shape, I'm going to be putting this on some saran wrap and putting it in the fridge for at least half an hour to an hour. You want it to firm up just a bit. It will be easier to work with. Now here's a couple options you can do. You can do 2 parchment paper and the dough in between and roll it out this way. It will be a little sticky. Or if it's cold out of the fridge, give it a couple minutes to come to room temperature, and you can use flour on your counter and roll it out. I like to use the flour method, but I wanted to also show you the parchment paper method. So once it's rolled out, you're just going to want to cut out your shapes. I'm using a 2.5-inch circle cutter. These do get pretty sticky pretty quickly, so you're going to want to work quickly with this. You're going to want equal amounts, and then with a knife we're going to cut off the top to give it that pumpkin look that the Little Debbie ones have. And then for one of them, you're just going to cut out that pumpkin face, so 2 triangles. And then the hole for the smile. Now, depending on how much you want for your filling, you can go between a teaspoon or a tablespoon. I like to use the teaspoon, but you just want enough to fill in those eyes and mouth area. And then make sure it's evenly spread along your back cookie. Place the face on top and then just squish it together, sealing it up. And then we're going to place this on a sheet pan with parchment paper. You can set your oven to 350 degrees, and these will bake between 8 to 10 minutes, depending on how soft or how crunchy you want them. You're going to see them just slightly get a little darker brown around the edges. And here's a sped up of another face. You're just going to keep doing this with all your dough. This makes between 1.5 dozen to 2 dozen depending on the size you use. And here's our little Copycat Little Debbie Pumpkin Delight cookies. I hope you enjoyed this cookie recipe. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to keep up to date with all my recipes, hit the subscribe button as well. Feel free to leave a suggestion in the comments, and if you want to see everything I make and post, I do have all my other social media links down below. Until next time, stay spooky and stay sweet.